Now let's discuss about the exchange of gases in human body. First we'll discuss about the exchange of gases between the alveoli and the blood. This is the alveoli, its membrane which is very thin. The exchange of gases between the lung, alveoli and the pulmonary capillaries is called as external respiration, which is the gases here which are exchanged is oxygen and carbon dioxide. In this diagram, this is the alveolar cavity and air passes through this. This is the pulmonary blood capillary. You can see here. The wall of the alveoli is very thin and has rich network of blood capillaries. Due to this, the alveolar wall seems to be a sheet of flowing blood and it is called as the respiratory membrane. Alveolar capillary RBC. Then this is the basement substance. Here from alveoli to the blood capillary, your O2 enters blood due to the partial pressure differences, and due to the same reason CO2 enters alveoli. This is the detailed diagram of respiratory membrane and red blood corpuscles RBC. The respiratory membrane mainly consists of the epithelium of the alveoli, basement of epithelium, this is a membrane, this is the interstitial space, this is the basement membrane of capillary, and this is the endothelium of capillary. Here diffusion of oxygen takes place, and from RBC to the cells, here the vice versa of CO2 takes place. These layers form a membrane of 0.2 mm thickness. The respiratory membrane has a limit of gaseous exchange between the alveoli and the pulmonary blood, and this is called the diffusion capacity. The diffusion capacity is defined as the volume of gas that diffuses through the membrane per minute for a pressure difference of 1 mmHg or 1 millimeter of mercury. ये गैस का solubility पे भी depend है. So अब let's learn about the exchange of gases in detail. Exchange of gases occur in two steps. First is the exchange of gas between the alveolus and the pulmonary blood capillary, and second is the exchange of gases between the blood capillary and the body tissue cells. Gases diffuse from a higher to lower concentration. The partial pressure of O2 in atmosphere is 159 millimeter of mercury, and the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in air is 0.3 mmHg. Whereas the partial pressure in alveoli of oxygen is 104 millimeter per Hg. So the O2 diffuses into the alveoli, and this is occurs in inspiration. Now, as the partial pressure of O2 in the alveoli is 104 mmHg, then that in deoxygenated blood in the capillaries of the pulmonary arteries, the movement of O2 is from the alveoli to the blood. So, the blood becomes oxygenated as the O2 is supplied in the blood, and this blood, when it is oxygenated, is pumped by the heart by the pulmonary veins. You can see this is the pulmonary vein and the systemic arteries. They carry oxygenated blood. Then the systemic arteries carry it to the whole body tissue cells. The exchange of gases, which is O2 and CO2, between the tissue capillaries and tissue cells is called as the internal respiration. The partial pressure of O2 is higher, which is 95 mmHg, than that of in body cells, which is 40 mmHg. So the O2 diffuses from the capillary blood to the body cells through tissue fluid, and the partial pressure of CO2 is lesser than that of the body cells. So the CO2 diffuses from the body cells to the capillaries and the blood becomes deoxygenated as O2 is derived from the blood. This deoxygenated blood is carried by the systemic veins and the pulmonary arteries to heart and the lungs respectively. The partial pressure of CO2 in the capillaries is 40 mmHg in alveoli, but in the capillaries it is 45 mmHg. So it diffuses out and later the CO2 is expelled out to the air, as the CO2 partial pressure in alveoli is 40 mm and in the air the partial pressure is 0.3 mmHg. Thus the expiration takes place. Thus the total mechanism of exchange of gas takes place in the body.
Thank you for watching the video. If you like my video, please like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to hit the bell icon to get notified. Thank you.